From the moment you enter school, you're told to follow the map. And they give you this map. And they say, sit in this chair, memorize this book, do your homework, do this, do that. And life will be easy for you. And you look at the map and you're like, oh, there's all these rules. There's people who are going to boss me around, which is fine. And there's monsters who are out to get me. Um, Tough things, tough challenges that um, maybe I'll do okay with, or maybe it'll be good, maybe it'll be bad, who knows? And then we'll see. But the biggest secret in business and honestly in life is that all this map and and the walls and the monsters and the people managing you, it's all just rubbish. It's all just bollocks. And that the path to success is so much simpler than you realize. It's just about finding it. And then when you find it, understanding it and doing it is simple. It's not necessarily easy at all. It's not necessarily easy, but it's simple and it's systems and it makes sense. And so you can kind of just walk through walls. The whole game changes. And today I want to tell you about a few stories in my life about kind of how I realized um, that there are no rules. There are no rules. And the reason why I want to kind of deliberate about my life and talk, yeah, about my life is because they're stories. So I think they'll be entertaining, but also because hopefully you'll be able to then realize that you can look back at your life and you'll be able to see some similar stuff, some similar stories that make you realize, hold on, it's just a game. It's just a thing in my mind. The path, the things I'm told to do, I'm told by people no smarter than me, and it's rules that were made up by people who are no smarter than me and don't really even exist anyway. So let's get into it. Another episode of the bizcraft. Hope you guys enjoyed last episode. What? Who am I kidding? No, last episode. It's really weird, guys. 2 episodes ago, that episode's hit 100 views. Yesterday's episode is on 1 view, and that 1 view is me because I wanted to check that the video had uploaded right. um, it's crazy. Um, one view's on one's my most viewed video, the other's my least viewed video. That's crazy, isn't it? But the other one didn't really have a very good thumbnail, so I've changed it. So we'll see. It might take a while to hit the algorithm like with this different. But we started building the house. Um, yeah, yesterday's video was a good one because I put more. It's kind of higher quality because it was lower quality. I had to prioritize the quality because it was stinking up. I've actually just logged in and realized I want to add some logs to the top. There, this. Hold on. Check. Shit. Um. So yeah. So I really let's just get into the first example because hopefully you guys will take a lot away. Well, some will take more away than others, but I feel like people will take away from this episode, which is cool. It's always good. Is that good? Yeah, it looks good. Looks good. I'm gonna put the trapdoor on top of the logs so it like looks like it's sealing them on. We'll see how that looks. It's already getting dark. So first example. Okay. This was the first one. This was when I thought I was. This is the one of the first times in school I felt like I was like cheating life. Like I was seeing that the rules didn't really exist. So when you're a student in school, you spend your whole life in school, and you're in an institution, and you always have a teacher, and the teacher is there to tell you X, Y, Z, and you always follow the teacher's rules. When I got into secondary school, I was a bit of a class clown, so that helped. But I have always done a lot of music, and my family's done a lot of music. Maybe that should go one block up, by the way. I'm not sure. Yeah, it looks like it's just broken the house. I'll leave it for now because I'll probably be able to tell next time I have a look. But yeah, so I would have to skip lessons for music lessons because they'd be timetabled in the middle of lessons like biology. So I'd be able to tell my biology teacher, and I hated biology, I'd be like, "Sorry, gang, gotta go for a music lesson," and so that was crazy. That was like that was like a real mental shift. It was like, hold on, and then they'd be like, "Oh, okay." So it's like, "Oh my gosh, I've just bypassed their authority." But sometimes they'd be like, "Please let me know in advance, exercise that authority of theirs," and it would be just a bit like, "Okay, mate," it would just be a bit jarring, really. Um, but yeah, like being able to say, "Hey, I've got a music lesson, ka-chow." That was good. That was good times, good vibes. Because I hated biology. So that's the first one. That's a quick and easy one. I'd miss assemblies as well for music. Bro, that assemblies are so bad. They were so boring. Sometimes they were good though. When I got older, I found that I actually quite enjoyed them. Especially like our whole school ones, because the whole school ones, people would like cook up like actually good like assemblies. Um, I had one maths teacher who like preaches. Well, he just like he's at my church, and at my church he like does sermons as well, and he's like really good. So whenever he do an assembly, that was always fire. And so yeah, that's fire. That's a good one. That's a simple one. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about. That's a light one. Right, we haven't started the timer, of course, and I haven't even changed scene. Thankfully, I noticed that. We're only 5 minutes in, so that's good. Yeah, this is the house, guys. This is how it's looking. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? So, yeah, that's kind of example number one. Example number two is, yeah, well, this is the same example, same example. So, I in school would do a lot of like drama. I'm pretty good at acting, and so like it's honestly like I'm not as good at anything else in life. Not gonna lie, like I'm pretty good at acting, and that's why I'm so two-faced, and everyone thinks I'm a snake, but it's all right. You gotta deal with those problems as they come, right? So I'm just joking. I'm actually what am I saying? So yeah, so that's another thing. Like I would skip class to like ends of lessons if we were doing a show or if we were doing rehearsals. You'd skip all your lessons if you were in an all day rehearsal, like the day before the show or like and stuff like that. Or you'd see teachers off their guard, or they wouldn't have to come in like professional gear if we had a Sunday rehearsal. And our shows were pretty like good because we had a lot of people in my year group specifically who really enjoyed drama. So we like actually cooked up in our boys. I'm actually liking this, by the way. I'm liking this architecture right now. I think the roof. I think I'm gonna keep going on the roof. My phone battery's getting low. Um, let's just let's just keep going there. We're gonna have to get some more mangrove already. That's crazy. So yeah, that's another one. Next one is still about acting, but it's lines on stage. So lines on stage. This is an interesting one. I've played quite a few roles that have been quite line demanding. Been very lucky too, because those are always amazing. Just pretty what would you call them, like key roles. I've been very lucky to have to do a lot of those, and so you have to learn a lot of lines. And one role in particular, I had to learn so many lines. I was in every single scene, and it's a very demanding show. If you know it, it's called Curious Incident of a Dog in the Nighttime, and that was so fire. That was so much fun to do. But I basically knew other people's lines better than they knew it, and that's not a comment on them. And that's first of all, actually, that's not entirely true. Like, or not for everyone. All right, I've seen some techie stuff online, like about like building. I feel like this could be a vibe. Hold on. What if we do this? Then we put another log on top, and it goes over like that. I think this is going to look good. We'll have the double log action going on. All right. We can actually get rid of this because we don't want to waste too much. So yeah, so you learn a lot of lines, and you just kind of realize that people are human beings. They're not perfect. They'd forget lines. You'd learn their lines better than they did, and it's not because they're like a donut, and it's just because you did a lot of line learning. Because yeah, okay, I think that's kind of all it is. But I had some examples where you'd have to full improvise because you've tripped up on your lines. I've actually barely done this, to be honest. I've barely done it. I've forgot lines like only a couple times. One time I was on stage and it was my line and I didn't realize. I zoned out, and this was like when I was playing a lead role, and I just had a moment on stage. I had a moment. I was like, wow, this is so cool, and just didn't realize it was my line. So, that was pretty funny. But that was again, like, the whole play just stops and you realize you have control, right? You realize you have some power in this world where you're in school thinking that you're just nothing, because that's what kind of school can make you feel like. Because you're just sitting in a classroom all day listening to like an older person talk, and that's fine. But like, it's very different from running the show, if you see what I'm saying. So there's that. There's that. Pretty out there, like, random one, but I think it's a good one, good example. So there's that. Next one's really interesting. We'd be putting in the shift all day. Yeah. So another one is when I was doing the shows in school, and when you do amateur dramatics, you are going to work or going to school, and then you do the show in the evening. So you're just putting in a shift. At school, it was a shift from 8 a.m. to just like 10:30 p.m. So that's real talk, right? That's real stuff. And it was realizing that, it was like, okay, this is slightly inhumane. This is like not work-life balance. This is not the rest. This is not what it was like when I was in like year 3 and I had no homework and life was good, right? It's not like that. And that's what you kind of realize. I've got to grab these before I forget. Otherwise, we'll run out. We'll run out of mangrove, and then I'll have to traverse like so far to get more. Yeah, so that's a good one. Next example. Next example. I've got it written down here. Yeah. So this one's pretty interesting, guys. So I did this play, Curious Incident of a Dog in the Nighttime. It's about a kid with Asperger's syndrome. He's got autism, and it's like high functioning autism. And what that means is he's like super good at maths, for example. Terrible with people because he doesn't really feel emotions. And it's an extremely good play because it educates people on what autism's really like. And so I studied this in school, actually. I did this play just as I came out of school. So I was 18, just came out of sixth form, which is like college in America. I'm not sure. It's like, so I was like, it's like 17, 18, and then I'm 18, just came out of school in September. So the year when you would be starting school again, but I'd finished school, and we did this play. So I was rehearsing in the summer, actually, as soon as I finished school. And there were so many lines. But with this play, something really, really interesting happened that I'd be really interested in, what you guys think. So my parents, they're two people who are very quick to, like, not judge or anything, but they're two people who are very quick to correct you or just say what they think, or, they're two opinionated people who want you to be the best you can be. And that's great, but it often means that they just like will tell you what they think about something, and what they think could be just wrong, kind of thing. So they don't give you a lot of room to speak. If you oppose them, they'll explain away. They won't go, oh no, you're right. They'll just continue to explain what they think, and they won't really take your opinion. I think that's a fair thing to say. But what happened when I did this play? I displayed, I will say it. And again, this doesn't happen in any other area of my life. It's not a coincidence that I'm good at acting as I am, and I'm just rubbish at other things in my life. It's not a coincidence. It's all me. It's all parts of me, right? I, on that stage, doing that play, showed a particular level of mastery, I would definitely say. And it's awesome. It's amazing that I have, it's a talent because I haven't put that much work into it. I put a lot of work into these different plays, but like, I'm not one of those Donnies who's been in dramatics like all his life, going to like drama school and stuff, like, or like growing up in these kids' drama schools. How much time do we have left? 5 minutes almost. That's terrible. So I'm just lucky, to be honest. But on that stage, with that play, I showed a particular level of mastery. A lot of work went into that show. I was basically playing a completely different human being the entire time, in every single scene, acting like I had mega autism. And that's hard. That's hard. I remember first rehearsing for it, thinking, I'm so excited for this because when I get a grasp on this role, it's going to be good. And it's going to be like a spectacle, because I'm so different in tactical, like every interaction with everything I say, I'm so different But at the same time, the story is just going to be great. It's just going to be a great show because the story is really good. Okay, so what happened after the show when my mum and dad came to see it? They drove me home, picked me up, drove me home. And it was like I was a different person. It was like the person in their car they had never met before. They'd never met me before. And they treated me with not just respect, with like reverence. They treated me with a different level of respect. It faded very fast, but it was crazy to think. It was crazy to think that they kind of gave me that much respect. By the way, I kind of know what I want to do with this roof, and I've kind of done it wrong here, but that's fine. Maybe have I done it wrong? Maybe I haven't. Yeah, into this, and then this is going to go the other way. So this can be like, no, that's wrong. Pick that back up. So that was crazy. So they treated me like I was a professional actor, and they were able to talk to a professional actor in the room, or something like that. So that was wild, to be honest. I'm gonna actually get rid of this because I'm gonna do the roof first. So that was crazy. I wonder if you guys have ever had a moment like that. Maybe, maybe not. It was crazy. Again, like I was just lucky to have been given the role, full stop. I'll never be able to. No, that's. Is this right? What am I doing? Yeah, this is right. This is right. This is a bit weird. This is a bit weird. Yeah, this is fine. This is fine. This is fine. Okay. This needs to go up. This needs to go up. Cool. So reinstate those blocks back. Is that right? I don't know. It doesn't matter. So that was a weird one. All of a sudden, your parents, who were yapping at you, saying, "Manny, like, what are you doing with your life?" type thing all the time, and then boom, like, "Manny, like, are you going to uni? What are you doing? Why aren't you applying to uni? Why aren't you, like, what are you doing with your life?" Bang, shushed, and that's what it felt like. They listened, you know, and that was a crazy moment. That was a crazy moment. Not that, you know, my parents never listened or anything like that. It was just the level of respect that they gave me in the car. I felt heard, I felt seen, and that was amazing. But it made you realize that, like, you know, they're human beings. I showed them something. I showed them something. That's kind of what I'm trying to say here. I taught them something, and that's an amazing thing that I was able to give them. Cool. So next one. How much time do we have left? 2 minutes. So music. Okay, this is a quick one. So in year 7, I had a pretty rowdy class of music, guys. And the way our classes worked was that we weren't split up into people who did music or didn't do music. It wasn't graded or anything. It was just music is like an alternate type class. It's not a main subject. And so so you just got the rowdiest Johnnies in your music class, basically, who didn't want to be there. It was too good. It was actually optimal. So funny. And every single time we'd be there waiting outside the music class for our turn to go, and we'd be making so much noise. I could just imagine them now. We had this one guy in our class who got kicked out of school. What is he doing? But he was a legend of the game for sure. So you got to respect it. And so I'm wondering what to do here, actually. It's all right. That works. And yeah, so every single lesson we'd have our music teacher, we'll call her Miss W because she's just a W teacher. But she would come out and she'd be like, "Boys, you're so loud." She'd be raging at us. She'd be like, "Guys, you're so loud. This is so rude, so disrespectful to the other people in the class. I'm teaching A-level students here, blah, blah, blah. These guys are doing their GCSEs, blah, blah, blah." We're like, okay, Sure, lady. And that's how we rolled. But so that's how she would rage at us every time. Now I did music all the way to A level. I didn't massively like music A level. I didn't like A levels at all. They were so bad. But I did music because I was like, I want to be a musician. Still want to be a musician, and it's gonna happen one day. Mark my words. Or an actor. We'll see. You guys will see me on the big stage one day. And we so I remember being in year 13, and I just finished up a class with her and a conversation with her, and so we were kind of like one on one, and then it was time for her to teach year 7, and so she was like, now I have to pretend to be angry at these guys, and that was a crazy moment, as you can imagine. That was a gut punch moment of realization that nothing is real, everything's a lie, and that she was never truly like annoyed. By the way, do mangrove trees just grow in stages, or did that just grow in front of me? Is that a full mangrove tree? I don't know. I don't actually know. But that's a massive one that needs chopped down still. Let's just leave it, because it might be growing in stages, because that might be a thing that Mojang added, but I have no idea. Look at all these roots, gang. I would not want one of these in my garden. That's for sure. But yeah, that was crazy. So she's actually a mega chill type teacher. She's like super chill. Anyone who knows, she's from Australia. So she's just unbelievable, like too chill. And so it was like, this makes sense kind of moment when I realized like she didn't really care, but she had to enforce for the greater good, and pretend to be angry. So that was pretty cool. Next one is salaries. Okay, so this one's a little bit more serious, guys, because this is something you have to take into consideration in your actual life. This isn't just a mindset thing, right? This is a fact. Salaries are bollocks. Salaries are bollocks. People are waiting for the pay rise. When am I getting? I got a 5% pay rise after working for this company for 16 years. Terrible. Awful. That's obviously not how it actually works. And no one would just sit around allowing those kind of statistics, right? But salaries are not fair. They're not fair. It is the company who have a job opening, and they advertise it, and they say the pay is competitive. They don't say what the actual pay is. And there are many convenient excuses as to why they don't just slap on the advertising for the job what the pay is. Because it's normally just going to be the lowest they can possibly pay, while not sacrificing anything that they want to sacrifice. So if it's a easy job, they can charge pretty low, as well as the fact that if it's an entry role that anyone can do it, then they can pay pretty low. The problem that so they can basically pay lower. So the only problem, other than the fact that the only problem with paying minimum wage is some people will just like be like, this isn't worth it, or I'm gonna leave, or I'm not gonna put my all into this. By the way, anyone who plays Minecraft will know that mangrove trees are actually such a pain, because you have to get rid of every single log for leaves to start falling. Otherwise they don't, I think, unless they've changed that. So, or if it's unique with mangrove trees. So you have to get every single one of these that I'm looking for, all of these thingies, which is annoying. So I'm looking for logs like you look for gold in the bastions in. So that's crazy. Anyway, yeah. So a business owner will pay you the least they can, with all factors considered. Okay, they don't want you to drop quality. They want you to be committed. They don't want staff turnover, so they're not going to pay you absolutely nothing. They'll pay you based on your experience, but they'll do tricks like they'll ask you what you paid at your last job, and then they'll just pay you and then they'll offer you a tiny bit more, especially if there's benefits. So if they've got more benefits than you have, or you were working 9 to 5:30 in your last job, if you're working 9 to 5 in the next job, they can just pay you a tiny bit more and say you're still getting paid way more for your hours, and you'll have to agree. Life and school don't teach you to negotiate your job, and negotiating is hard. It's not easy, guys. Don't think negotiating's easy. I read a whole book on it, and I just got overwhelmed. So because it's just overwhelming. So that's a fact. All right, how long do we have left? We're done. But I've got a few more examples based on business, and I think they're good. So, number one scenario is pulling numbers out the air. So when you first sell something, you're on a call. If it's a service-based business or you're in e-commerce, you have to put the price in. You have to put a price in. What are you pricing your product? And you know full well that you're just going to pull that price straight out the air, bruh. You know full well you're going to pluck that number out of nowhere because you have no idea what to put as the number. You're just going to put the one that looks nice. You're going to put the one that feels best. You're going to put the one that isn't too high or too low in your mind without having a clue how to price. I've done an episode on pricing, but my point is, as soon as you start something like business that pushes you and pushes your mind, pushes your mental framework, you're going to be able to really break through these barriers. And if you're someone who thinks that's not how life works, or my friend says he's business minded, but he does crazy things and runs a business and doesn't know what he's doing, and it's such a stupid idea. Like those kind of people who will say those kind of things, they really have no idea what they're talking about. Type diddle. So that was kind of a yap one. But yeah, pricing. Price tags are made up. Value is entirely based on perception, not a fixed rule book. Next one out of the three, skipping the gatekeeper. So did you ever get a major deal or massive opportunity simply by DMing just the owner of a business? Simple as that. Completely bypassing their official application or contact us form or anything like that. And then they say, sure, we'll do X, Y, Z, or sure, we'll take a look, or sure, let's book a call. This sounds good, or, something like this. So I'm sure that you guys have experienced something similar, maybe. That's what it can be like. I might put something there, but I don't think anyone's going to come up here or care. It's just me on the server. Lol. So, house is coming along well. It's looking similar colours, but it's fine. We can always do stuff against that. Like, it's very flat on the side. I can bring the roof out a bit. That's fine. I'm going to make it look like this, but side on. And then it will go up also a lot higher, so you'll be able to see it, and it'll be like a grand little roof. Yeah, I'll definitely make it come out. Hold on. Let me do this before I forget. Yeah, I'll do a bit of that. Therefore, I kind of know what the plan is. Nice. So you don't have to wait in line. You can just walk up to the front door. That's a big one. Going from door to door sales. Something like solar is really good for door-to-door sales. It's very effective because it's high ticket. You can go to expensive areas and therefore, bang, qualified leads. As long as they don't have a solar panel on their roof, they're a good lead. So you can knock on their door, go straight to their door, high quality lead. All that matters therefore then is your pitch. And then boom, you've basically got the optimal setup. Not even going to lie. So realizing that like, yeah, there's no barriers there. And then, peeking at the competition. So the first time you look at how successful competitor actually ran things behind the scenes, and you realize that their systems were a total mess, and maybe they were barely holding together. And a total mess can be fine. Chaos can be fine, because it's really about getting rid of the. Entrepreneurship and business management is about preventing the biggest fires, as opposed to like scaling upwards. It's about managing the biggest bottlenecks. Yeah, that's what it is. It's only until every bottleneck is managed that you can that you can scale a little bit and creep up your numbers a little bit. As in, for example, how many ads you're doing, or like how much ad spend you have, or how much email outreach you're doing, or employing a new person. You can only do that when the current systems are 100% working, because otherwise it's just better for you and your future and your company to manage those systems. So that's the last one, is that everyone is faking it to some degree. There is no perfect way to run a business. I feel like that's a good way to start it, is that everyone is faking it to some degree. No one has the answer. No one really knows what's going on, but at the same time, they do. Okay, like I know what I'm doing in the confines of what I'm currently doing. In terms of business, I don't 100% know what I'm doing, guys, but I'm learning in the confines of everything I'm operating in. So like, I know I need to get customers. How do I get customers? Email. So I know how to do email, at least in a basic level, but I don't know how to do email as well as the email marketing professionals like top level pros, you know what I mean, who've been doing it for years and years. How's this coming along well, guys? I like this. I like the mangrove wood. It's definitely different, definitely stands out, definitely gets a little bit of viewer, you guys to keep watching. What am I saying? I'm just joking. But yeah, I hope you guys found this interesting. You guys will have your own stories. You'll have your own things that make you realize that there are no rules. Shift your mindset. You can do anything. You can do anything. It's not like, it's not, and especially with social media, like, what the? I thought there was someone in my game for a second because it's like daylight. Yeah, come out into the sunlight, bro. Is he gonna burn? He's not even burning. What an absolute loseroid. I've never seen this before in my life, guys. This is new. Is it because he's wearing armor or is it copper armor? Because I didn't know this was a thing. He's also got enchanted boots. That's crazy. Look at this. Get absolutely trolled. Yeah, what are you doing, mate? You just drop everything under the sun. Respect, blood. Farm's looking good as well, guys. I think it's time to adventure out soon, by the way. We could keep building the house, but we could also just give it a rest, you know what I mean? Thank you very much, guys, for watching. If you have any questions, please let me know. Sorry for not filming like the first 5 minutes or whatever it was. This video is actually being quite a long one, but it's a good topic. It's a good topic. So thank you guys for watching. If you have anything else you want me to talk about, leave a question in the comments. If you have any questions about what we talked about today, leave that in the comments. I'm going to see you guys tomorrow. Thanks very much.